All right, Grandpa has arrived carrying a wrapped gift. After cheek-pinching and pronouncements of his grandson looking sick, he presents the gift, a book. Disappointment registers on the boy's face. "A book?" he asks. "That's right," Grandpa says. "When I was your age, television was called books." He explains to his grandson that this book was read to him by his father when he was sick, and now he will read it to him, The Princess Bride, by S. Morgenstern. The grandson, after a moment's hesitation, agrees. Grandpa begins. "When Buttercup was raised on her small farm in the country of Florin, her favorite pastime was riding her horse. She had no particular brains, but she was beautiful. However, as a farm girl, she found great joy and was thrilled by the simplest things that life offered her. Soon a farmhand approaches to help her, a character by the name of Westley. She requires him to take the horse into the stable, and he always answers, 'As you wish.' We then see her looking thoughtfully at Westley before the narrator interjects with, 'That day she discovered what his words meant.' What he was really saying was, 'I love you.'" We see Westley laboring around the property, cutting wood, fetching water all the while, doing things for her as she commands. Then she asks him something again, and he says, "As you wish." From that point on, that was all Westley ever said to her. She then realizes she is completely in love with him, and all her dreams come true, and she is completely with him. But Westley doesn't think so. He has switched the glasses when Vizzini wasn't looking. Vizzini succumbs to the poison and dies. Westley then dispatches the brute squad outside and removes Buttercup's blindfold. She asks him who he is, but he simply tells her, "I'm no one to be trifled with." She recognizes the voice and realizes it is her, Westley. She is furious that he took so long to return and begins hitting him. He then removes the rag from her mouth and tells her nothing happened to him. He then takes her hand and they run away together. Back with Humperdinck and his second in command, the Count. We discover they can track Buttercup by a special device. Humperdinck tells the Count to prepare the fire swamp and says, "Buttercup will never reach her love." We then see Buttercup and Westley running hand in hand through the fire swamp, a dangerous place with fire spouts and other perils. After the reunion in the forest and Inigo's revenge against his father's killer, the journey through the fire swamp seems to bring Westley and Buttercup even closer. However, they reach a point in the swamp with the fire catching up to them, and Westley has to carry her to safety, now with the grandson and the grandfather. "Well, what happens next?" asks the grandson. "Does the prince find them in the fire swamp?" The grandfather says he will have to wait until tomorrow. "But I want to know," the grandson replies. The grandfather exclaims that he is tired, as it is his bedtime. The grandson tries to persuade his grandfather that the story is so exciting he cannot wait until tomorrow. The grandfather agrees to read a little more, but insists it will only be one more page. "That's it." "Got it?" he says. Grandpa reads, "Although Buttercup and Westley ran with all their might, the fire was faster." Although Buttercup and Westley ran with all their might, the fire was faster. As they are about to succumb, they are rescued by ROUSs. Westley surmises that Humperdinck wanted them to think they were dead so he could start a war with Gilder. Back in the pit of despair with Humperdinck and the Count, Humperdinck reveals that the torture device will be used on Westley tonight. He plans to kill him just before the wedding, which he says will create outrage and generate support for the war with Gilder. The Count is all too happy to oblige. But as Humperdinck leaves, the Count continues to turn up the machine, and Westley is nearly dead again when Inigo and Fezzik arrive. Back with the grandson and grandfather. "Is that the end?" asks the grandson. "Does Westley die?" The grandfather replies that even the fire swamp couldn't kill Westley. The grandson exclaims that Westley is alive and is coming to rescue Buttercup. The grandfather continues, "As Westley lay awaiting the device, a shadow fell across him. It was Inigo and Fezzik. Fezzik is forced to break the machine, but is sad because it was the Count's favorite. 'Don't worry,' said Inigo, 'more will come.' They then free Westley from the machine. When they ask about his health, he says he is mostly dead. Inigo says they need Miracle Max. Fezzik asks about Miracle Max, and Inigo recounts how Miracle Max once helped him get over a terrible disease that left him unable to move. He has retired now. Inigo and Fezzik go to Miracle Max's to ask for his help. Now at Miracle Max's hut, Inigo explains that the prince is using Buttercup to start a war, and they need Westley to get her back. Max refuses, saying that he used to work for Humperdinck and he was not nice to let go of. Valerie interjects that Humperdinck is alive, in which Max decides to help. After some convincing and a bit of an argument with his wife, Miracle Max agrees to help them. He explains Westley will need to build up an immunity to iocane powder first, but I can't help him there, so good luck, he states with a sly smile. Miracle Max then takes Westley away to prepare the pill. Now back with Inigo and Fezzik. We see them outside of the castle, and Inigo explains that they need to get inside. They surmise that they need someone to draw the gatekeepers away, which Fezzik takes care of with ease. Upon storming the gate, the albino's shout is quickly dealt with as well. After gaining entry into the castle and making their way, though, the trio split ways. But they are soon caught by Count Rugen and his men. Here lies the content for the final third of this script if you require it. Thanks for tuning in. Stay curious, stay awesome, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more amazing content.